Hey, on this episode of Samp&Chance, guys, we are going to get into vengeance. We're going to get into AEW. We are going to talk about what everybody's talking about, and you're going to hear from our side, our perspective, the Rock, Cody, and Roman situation. How is this going to impact WrestleMania? We'll find out this Thursday with the press conference. But before that, guys, strap in and enjoy the show. Samp&Chance, here we go. Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of Samp&Chance Wrestling. I am your host, Bobby Sampson. Joined with me as always, my man with the master plan. I fumbled on my words. Mr. Chance Michaels, Tom Petty, and the Heartbreakers in full effect. New head coach for the Seahawks. How are you, Mr. Chance Michaels?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I got this shirt 10 years ago. I went to the concert. Still fits good. Doing
Perfect.
good. How you doing?
I can't complain, man. It's Tuesday. That means we're going to recap everything that's kind of been going on in the world of pro wrestling up until today. Thursday, the big WrestleMania press conference. So maybe we'll cut it short and real and our reaction to that. But in the meantime, brother man, we had vengeance this weekend from the WWE, the NXT, PLE. I thought it was a good show. I really enjoyed it. I always do enjoy their shows. The timing is perfect. They always seem to get it right. It's under 3 hours, which is great.
Yeah.
The matches were good. Overall, I thought the show was pretty good for the most part. A little flubs here and there, but I mean that's expected on any show. But man, I tell you what, the opening match with Carmelo and Trick against Braun and Corbin, amazing. I really
Was
enjoyed
good.
it. Great way to start the show and a great way to end the show. Your thoughts on all of it?
I like Corbin's entrance. Come out with a motorcycle because he is a motorcycle enthusiast in real life. He looks the part. He is a biker. It's a good match. They're a good team. It's too bad to see a guy that was on the top be in NXT because that's like going from the NHL to the juniors. But it was a good match. They're a good team. Great opening match. You know, NXT overall was a decent show. It wasn't great. Some of the acting is pretty cheesy, like those mafia guys. What do they call themselves?
Oh, the Dawn of NXT. Yeah, those.
Oh, that is such corny acting. It is so bad. The girl actually plays the mafia role not bad, but those two guys are that was like 1980s B level acting. It's horrible. It was god awful. But that's why it's NXT. You wouldn't see that on the main roster. They're still holding their crap, so I don't read too hard of them. That stuck out to me how bad the acting was.
I almost get the
Very
feeling
bad.
they were trying to act that way to make it cheesy, but I hear what you're saying. It's almost
Yes.
the gimmick itself, right? Like that
Oh, it's
whole
horrible. God
mafia
awful.
gimmick. But yeah, overall though, the card was really good. You know, you it's kind of weird because you think Breaker's out of the, on his way up and what
Mm-hmm.
have you. And I still believe Breaker's going to be the guy to challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, in light of everything, just the way I thought it was set up. But I mean, we still have time.
Yeah.
Lot to be here. In terms of Corbin, the one thing I'll say about him, this is the Corbin that should have been up on the main roster. The way he's doing his thing, the way he's coming across and everything. Let's see what he does. I mean, it's not like he didn't have a bad run up there. I mean, he did a
No, he
lot,
had a lot of different characters. King
but
Corbin, Goofy Corbin, Happy Corbin, Sad
right.
Corbin.
Right. But the reality is the Corbin that we're getting right now is the Corbin that should have come up, in my opinion. That just that style, that the way he delivers, the way he's acting, all of it. That's the Corbin that will probably come back up. And you know what? Good move on his part. Things weren't going for him up there, and it was kind of saturated. So it's nice to have the option to go down if you want to kind of work on things and kind of
Still
get
a
back.
kick in the pants. The guy's 40, late 30s, early 40s, whatever he is. And it's still a kick in the pants to go down to the juniors. That is the juniors. That's like watching AHL hockey. There's no other way to slice it, right? It still doesn't mean it's not good. It's just that when you're at this level, you got to go back down and wrestle with guys who are still trying to make it. He is honing his craft, but at this level, he's lucky he never got cut.
Well,
And
like
I
I said,
love the guy, but that's
yeah,
just the reality of it.
I mean, they see something in him to give him the opportunity to go back down and kind of work on it, right? So, I mean, that's a good sign for him. But hey, like I said, those guys are going on to, well, they won the Dusty Cup, so
Yeah.
now they are in line for a tag team title shot. I guess get your favorites, the Mafia guys who currently hold the tag team.
Oh, yeah. Those guys are
So,
such bad actors. It's so bad.
but they're
They're
good in
not
the
bad in the ring, but their acting
yeah.
is horrible.
well, this is where you learn your craft and hone your skill before you get to go
Yeah,
upstairs, right? So,
absolutely.
ladies match I thought was really good. I thought it was really good until the contract winner Lola Vice came in and kind of interrupted things, making it a three-way dance. Well, this is going to be interesting. It gives Roxanne a story to kind of work off of here. She's not ready to come up yet. We saw Tiffany Stratton
Yep.
debut on SmackDown, so she's officially off that roster and on to bigger and better things, man. So good for her. Coming up with the victory as well. So they're keeping her dominant. Liked how she slapped Mia Yim Michin and ran away. I love that character. I think she's going to be really good. They have a lot of high hopes up for her. But the main event, man, wow, that Trick Williams, man, I like him. I like Trick. I think
Yeah,
he has
he's a good worker.
he has a future if he keeps working hard. The swerve at the end. I mean, I kept seeing it. I kept seeing it. I knew it was going to be Carmelo.
You could
That
see it in his face out there.
you can see it on his face, but you can see it for the last 3, 4 weeks. Like I said, I watch NXT quite a bit, so I've been able to follow that storyline and just the little telltales throughout the whole episode and the feud. Um, it was really good. The other thing I was thinking was if Trick won, this would be a great way for Dragunov to come up. If it wasn't going to be Braun, I'd like to see Dragunov challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental title. Um, I don't know how
I don't
much.
think Dragonov's ready for that yet.
Well, here's the thing, man.
Not at
Maybe
Mania.
well, maybe not yet, but here's the thing. The matches that Dragunov and then William had before he became Gunther, he was William in NXT
Mhm.
and NXT Europe. These guys had matches to salivate over. Just phenomenal. And if you want to think about it from a storyline perspective, Ilya coming up would be great because that's the last man to beat him.
Yeah, but I don't know if he has the character or the pizzazz to be on WrestleMania. I think he still needs a little more time. They can work good, but at the end of the day, does he have enough character? Is he over enough to come to the main roster? I don't think he'll be facing Gunther at WrestleMania. I'm not saying he couldn't put on a good match, but I don't know how much the crowd will receive him. I don't know how well he's over. He's never been on the big stage yet, so it's a big leap from NXT, where barely anybody's watching you, to the grandest stage of them all.
Well,
That's
like
like
I
going
said, man,
from Washington Huskies to the Kansas City Chiefs and
yeah,
starting the Super Bowl, right? I don't think
yeah,
he's
yeah.
ready.
No, you know what? Like I said, though, those are potentials there, right? I mean, just knowing the stories that kind of the back stories of all these guys and stuff, you just kind of, in my mind, that's how I just book things, right? So,
Yeah, could
but
be.
I what you're saying. But I mean, those are potential feuds. But I do believe, I think Braun's going to be that guy. I just have a feeling Braun's going to show up, and I thought he was actually going to come out last night on Raw when Gunther was doing his 600 day. I didn't expect Jay to come out.
Yeah,
So,
Jay,
I mean,
you might see Gunther versus Jay.
well, I think Gunther and Jay probably happened at Elimination Chamber. We still have that big show coming up at the end of
Yeah,
the month, right? So a lot of what we're seeing right now is kind of gearing to that. I think after Elimination Chamber, like we got a matches already kind of sussed out for Mania that we already know. The rest of the card has to fill out, but I think that part of the card will fill out after Elimination Chamber, right? Becky qualified last night for the Elimination Chamber, so everything's going in the direction of a Becky versus Rhea match at Mania, depending on how Rhea does against Nia. But right now, Nia just keeps dominating her, man, week after week. It's another week now where Nia's come out and just kind of destroyed her.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I will say one thing about NXT before we put a cap on that. It wasn't a bad pay-per-view. Like you said, the opening match was great. The main event was really good. In between, overall, it's not a bad show, but it's definitely a show for the hardcores. If you're just a casual fan, you like the Raw and SmackDown, you're not gonna really like NXT too much. It's dudes in their underwear flipping around, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm just giving my general view of it. But there's a reason why it is the juniors. It's not bad. There's some good stuff. There's some very, very bad stuff too. It's very cheesy. But overall wasn't bad. I enjoyed it, but I would give it like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. Not bad.
yeah, me, I'm gonna go more a little higher, 8, only because I'm invested more in the program, in the storylines, and
Mm-hmm.
watching it. So I thought it was a good show overall. I thought Dragon Lee against the Dragon Lee match was really good. I really enjoyed that as well. Um
Yeah, it's not bad. It's decent wrestling. Like
the
it's
JC
it's
Dijak match was fun. Again, but again, I understand
juniors.
here the reality of it is I give it a higher ranking only because I follow the show, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like when you follow it and you get to that kind
No,
of
I
point.
know, but it's like watching the Abbey Canucks. It's good hockey. but it's not the
Yeah,
pros.
no, I
And
get
these
it.
guys are just not at that level.
Speaking of that, then let's move on over to AEW, where I still say, I'm not being a homer or anything. I'll also say NXT is still better than AEW on any given day, in my opinion, outside of a few matches.
I will
In terms
say
of
that
production,
I thought Collision was better than Vengeance only simply because of this one match. Daniel Bryan and that Hincharo guy,
yeah, amazing.
connection guy, he did some moves I've never seen before. He looked out of shape when you see him standing. Like, oh my god, who is this guy? Nobody's heard of him, except for the super hardcores in the IWC. But man, he did some locks, some holds, some spins, some moves, and I think that right there, the Daniel Bryan match with Hincharo was the best match of the week on any WWE, TNA, anything. I thought they really, really stole the show. It was an amazing match. If you haven't seen it, that Collision match, phenomenal. 5 out of 5.
Solid. I mean, Daniel Bryan keeps proving to be a great commodity. He's a little injury prone, obviously, but when
Well,
he
yeah,
is
he's in his mid-40s now.
right, I mean, when he's in there though, he's amazing and he's really fun to
I
watch.
was more impressed than Charles with the moves that he was doing. Like, you've never seen those moves in
Crazy
America.
guy, man. You got to go back and check this guy out. He's awesome. Like, I mean, he's unseemingly, like you said, but I mean, he comes out of nowhere and just shows you the side that's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
But
it was great.
AEW for the week, Dynamite. I guess a decent show for the most part. Again, I'll stay steadfast until I see a change. It just feels disjointed. Maybe I need to get more reps under my belt with the programming to understand where it's all coming from. The John Moxley match against Jeff Hardy to start off the show, a couple of veterans. Expected outcome,
It
obviously.
wasn't a good match.
No, it was okay.
It's like watching Jeff Hardy's in slow motion now.
Yeah. And then, well, and Moxley, I mean, the guy's just, I don't know, man. He's a couple concussions away of something bad. The guy just takes some serious damage. I mean, he is.
Yeah, Dynamite was okay. It wasn't great. I thought Collision was their best show of the week by far.
Yeah, no problem at all. I got to get more into it, to be completely honest. I got to watch it more.
I mean, some of Collision was. I'm not saying it was this is must see TV because there was a couple duds on that show, but that one match there was the best match of the week for any organization. I thought the Bryan and Charles match, because you're seeing moves you've never seen before, which is you pretty much seen every move in wrestling if you watched it for a few years. All you see is super kicks and spears all the time, and he was doing leg locks, holds, spinning. Like, they worked a great routine, and they were in sync, and it was a great match.
Oh, great chain wrestling, man. Very good chain wrestling. Something that we don't see a lot of anymore. I mean,
not really.
A lot of what he was doing would have been, and how do I say this? Like our grandfather's wrestling. It's like watching Lou Thesz against, Ivan Putz in. I'm not Ivan Putski, but you know what I mean. Like, that really mean wrestling kind of hold for hold, kind of, that's kind of poetry in its own way, right? I mean,
and there's also something about Collision I like, is that Tony Schiavone on Dynamite is doing the color, but on Collision he's doing the play-by-play, and it's always special to hear Tony Schiavone because he's one of the, he's still a legend now. I mean, he's only in his early 60s, but it's nice to hear somebody that has that special voice. When you heard WWE, it's just Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Those are two guys I'm not a huge fan of. So
right.
And AEW had a good week, I thought. The ratings bounced back a little bit.
Well, I mean, the ratings did come up a little bit. Yeah, they're not much challenging them at the moment. So I mean, that's good for them. I just still feel like they're bringing back the ranking system. Your thoughts on that, man? Do you think that even applies, or how does that?
I don't know why you need a ranking system when they're telling you who's going to win and lose.
Well, I mean, it's just the way they done it. It's ironic. It was Punk who came in and said, "Get rid of this. It makes no sense." When he joined with AEW,
I agree with them on that.
And they got rid of it, but they are bringing it back. So I mean, these rankings are gonna kind of. When they started the ranking thing, they actually kind of used it properly. They actually played off of it to make it work. They kind of got away from it a little bit, but let's see if with it coming back, maybe it will work.
I mean, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to do something different, something new, right?
Yeah,
but
I get it, but I mean, they got to give it a chance, right? I don't think, they pulled the plug when they started to kind of forget about it a bit. Like, if you watch the early days of AEW with the ranking system, they used it and it was fun, right? It actually made sense. Like, okay, you're looking at all the 24 wins, 3 losses. Okay, he's the next guy in line. And they were doing that, but then they kind of got off that ship a little bit when Tony kind of lost control. Not to say that he has any control over it still in a way, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But in terms of, maybe with the people they have back there booking now, with the agents that he's put in place, this will work again, and this might be something that will benefit them, right? attendance is still an issue for these guys. They got to figure that out fast because I don't know how much money Mr. Rashid Khan is going to allow his son to keep dumping into this. This is a big issue, man.
I think they make the money back from the TV contracts, so they kind of balance it out.
They do, but at the end of the day, when you're only getting 4,000 people and under 4,000 is considered a bad crowd, that's not a good sign if you're above
No, they got to
4,000.
cut. They're doing too many shows. They need to cut one back.
Well, they don't really,
You don't
really.
need Rampage and Collision. Get rid of one of them. You don't need 3 big shows.
Well, the reality is a lot of it's recorded in the same night for the most part. Like a lot of the times
Yeah.
they'll record all three at the same place. So who's ever coming in, like they're coming
Let
to
me put it to you this way: Rampage got 314,000 people watching it.
Yeah.
American Pickers got 900,000. So
Yeah.
that says it all right there. As an example of how nobody watches Rampage. There's no need to have that show. If you only get 300,000 people, that's not a lot when you're supposed to be a wrestling program. Those are low ratings. And what's the point of having that show? There's no point of having it. Get rid of it and just do Collision and Dynamite or something.
It comes down to the
Too much
fact
wrestling.
it comes down to the fact that Tony doesn't want to fire any talent, and until he starts shedding that roster a little bit, it's going to be that way because the reality is he has way too many bodies on that roster.
Way too many.
And I believe he's compensating by creating other programs to get the talents on there. He would better off, in my opinion, just keeping AEW Dark, the shows that they had on the YouTube channel for these talents to kind of work their way up to the main show.
Well, he wanted some TV money too, right? For these shows as part of it.
Right, but the reality is he's not using all the talent though. He's still using the same guys for all the shows. So he needs to kind of either shed some of that fat because that roster is just too saturated, man. There's a lot of good talent there, a lot of good potential.
Yeah, there's some good talent. There's too many indie looking guys. Sometimes when I'm watching that show, I'm like, am I watching an indie show in Vancouver on the local scene here? Because some of these guys, that's what they look. And when you have that feeling, and I'm a wrestling fan, I know the regular guys aren't going to watch that. And that's why you get 300,000 people. So until he's able to comprehend that they don't really want out of shape guys in their undies flipping around all the time. Sometimes yes, but not every wrestler like that. You're not going to catch on.
Well, they got to figure it out. And I'm sure they will eventually.
He's got to be a bit of a jerk. He's got to let some people go. So
well, but
guys need to work harder.
And he's not doing that. And until he figures that part out for himself, I think we're just going to see the kind of things that we're going to see. Yep. But that being said, like I said, I have not been the greatest, I haven't followed AEW as much as I should. I always have it on, but I don't watch it as deeply as I do the other things. So on my part, I have to do a better part, and I will. And we'll get more of a detailed thing on there on that. But that all being said, my friend, let's move on to the opening promo of Raw. We thought we'd get some answers here. So let's just recap here a little bit. Last Friday, Bayley chose Io as I had predicted. I thought that was, just a given. So one match is official for WrestleMania that we know of. It's going to be Bayley versus Io. Looking forward to this match. I'm not saying it's a main event caliber match, but it's going to be a really good match, in my opinion. Storylines there. It's going to be fun. That being said, Cody came out to confront Roman Reigns, and he talked about, I am coming for you. Everything, he was supposed to say, but I'm not coming for you at WrestleMania. And he took counsel, and one of those guys that he talked to knows him very well, and here comes The Rock, man. The Rock's music hits, they hug, they shake hands. Now, WWE cut out a part of that segment where Cody looked sad when he was leaving the ring. So in essence, Cody gave up his spot for the main event at WrestleMania in order for The Rock to come in and take that spot. Now, the reaction afterwards blew my mind. It really did. I thought this was the main event that everybody wanted. This is what everyone was talking about. This is, the Cody versus Roman Reigns, and we've said it here on the show. Is that the match you want closing WrestleMania 40, considering they've already done it once before? And, all the marks on the internet, man. That's
what it is. So that's the thing. It depends who you ask. The hardcore IWC guys, they're out there. We want Cody hashtag. And it's like, this is the new Daniel Bryan movement. Just all the same thing. Cody's not very good in the mic. He's good in the ring and he dresses well, but Rock is a global star. That's what they don't understand. people want to see The Rock, the regular guys that are going to have a beer. Oh, let's watch The Rock. He's the last time. You know what I mean? The hardcores will always watch Cody because they love him. So I don't think WWE even has their mind made up yet. They're listening. Because this is the problem when you have guys like Triple H and other guys like that. They are controlled by the IWC. So they keep hashtagging this on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Cody they'll find a way to work it so they keep the fans happy, and Cody will get a belt. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I don't even think the main event is even set in stone yet. They're still feeling off crowd reaction, and they're reading the internet comments, and that'll determine what happens at Mania. So I don't even think it's set up yet.
First off, this has nothing on, from what I know. This is all coming from TKO. This is not even coming from Triple H or any of those guys. This is all coming from the upper ups. The more I've read about this now, The Rock really pushed for this match himself. He wanted to do.
He did, but I don't think it's going to happen like that because they're going to go off the crowd reaction.
Yeah, but listen, man, this is what what I've seen. Okay, The Rock, by joining the board of governors, he has incentives in place that if he participates in a fight this year, he gets an upwards of $30 million just for doing it. Right. So that's that. The other piece is, unfortunately, all the Brock and the Vince stuff that went down, having CM Punk injured. So this is the
Rock. Brock, the lacking star power.
Right. So CM Punk is gone. Look, man, Rock had no intention of doing anything. To be completely honest, we were probably going to see Roman Reigns and The Rock probably later on. But because Punk is out, Punk was supposed to fight
Lesnar.
Seth Rollins for that title. Lesnar was supposed to be on the card. I mean, they've eliminated Lesnar so much that they take him off the video game now. Right. So they're really distancing themselves from everything. The Rock now, because he has corporate interest and because he has financial interest in the TKO Holdings Group, which he's a part of, he's really pushed for this match. I don't have a problem with it because this is the match everybody wanted last year. This is the match that everybody was hoping for this year. Now they finally got it. A small group of people out there are shitting on it. Part of my language. Okay. What disturbs me the most is they're sending death threats to guys that are actors and performers. It's not, you know what I mean? So that's just kind of a bogus thing. I get it, right? I get the whole thing. I understand it, but the reality is, which of these competitors on the day of WrestleMania, even the guys on the preview show, are not going to complain about the extra zeros at the end of their bonus check?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And not to mention, Rock gets the most social media views. Yes, the hardcore IWC guys, they'll chant Cody and Daniel Bryan all day long. And that's fine for those guys. But what about the other people on social media? What about people that just buy a casual paper? They watch WrestleMania. They want to see The Rock. They don't understand that. I still think they'll find a way to get Cody the belt. He might have a couple matches. Nothing set in stone yet. Rock will wrestle at Mania, but they're going to find a way to keep the marks happy. Cody will win the belt. Cody will beat Roman. Cody's going to have the belt, and they're going to send him off in the sunlight. He finishes the story, and all the IWC will be happy. How they go about it, I don't think they're sure yet because they're still reading all the social media comments. They're listening to the crowd. But Cody will end up with the belt sooner than later, whether it's at Mania or the next pay-per-view or Elimination Chamber. I'm not sure how they're playing it. I don't think they know yet. They're kind of all over the place.
I kind of like, can I play guest booker here with you for a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because Drew came out last night, like, to keep adding wedges to this story, right? Like, you thought, okay, it's etched in stone. So we know there's a press conference this Thursday at the T-Mobile Arena to kick off the WrestleMania season, sort of a deal. The press conference, Rock is going to be there, Cody's going to be there, Seth is going to be there, Rhea and Bianca. This is who I know is going to be there for sure. So hopefully we get some answers here. I have a feeling because Drew is just inserting himself, he has no reason to be doing what he's doing. And I love the work that Drew's doing right now.
He's on fire, yeah.
He's on fire. But here's the deal. Drew has no contract after WrestleMania Sunday. He's not signed a new deal. He's basically working down. He said this guy could potentially finish WrestleMania and be on Dynamite on Wednesday if he wanted to. There's no 90-day clause, nothing. So they got to figure out what they're doing with Drew, right? So I have a feeling almost where we're going to get Roman Reigns working 2 nights here. You know, this is what I potentially see. You're going to probably get, again, this is just speculation, Seth versus Drew at Mania night 1, right? Or maybe night 2. Because I think what's going to happen is you're going to get Cody, Roman night 1 to close out the show. Roman loses the titles if that's what everybody wants and that's what they're clamoring for. But keep in mind, this is all coming from TKO now, right? They're the ones who are calling this.
Yeah, but if Cody beats Roman night one and you Rock and Roman Reigns too, that match means nothing.
but this is the problem, right? So this is what
What's
they
the
have.
point of having Rock and Roman then?
Well, that's the thing. So that match is going to happen either way. So does this make the Drew? You know what I mean? Like they just keep adding these elements. I don't, where it's
I don't
gonna.
think Drew plays a factor, and I think they're gonna wait a few more weeks, listen to the crowd, watch social media, and then make a decision what to do with Cody and Rock and all that because they want to keep IWC happy. They run wrestling now.
Yeah, but and I don't
And a
think
lot of people, a lot of dirt sheet writers are saying by the end of the year, Triple H is going to be gone. They're trying to supposedly they're going to get rid of the whole McMahon old regime, and by the end of the year, TKO will fade him out. I'm not saying that's true. That's what about 4 or 5 dirt sheet writers who have like 600,000-700,000 followers are saying that rumblings are he'll be gone by the end of the year and out.
yeah, and
The last kind of holdover from the McMahon regime. I don't know if that's true. Who knows?
I don't think it's true at all. At the end of the day, people are going to keep writing what they're going to keep writing. It's just you have to be able to discern and kind of take the good from the bad and break it up properly, right? I mean, it's all rumor and speculation.
If they want to wipe out that whole McMahon thing and Triple H, unfortunately, it's guilty by association. He'll be gone. No, even if he did nothing, I'm not saying he did nothing wrong, but he'll just be gone because of it.
And if that's the case, then that's the case, right? Oh, no. Right now, I'm just focused on WrestleMania and the things that are ahead of us. And I mean,
so like I'm saying, my end of the thing, they don't know what they're doing yet. Nothing's set in stone. They're playing with it. They're going to wait a few more weeks, go by the internet, go by the crowd reaction, and figure out the medium.
You know what? I think decisions are going to be made by this Thursday. There's no reason to have a press conference then if they don't have a choice or decision in place, right? I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. I believe that
by they're not going to give you that. They're not going to give you the details at the press conference. They're not going to tell you what the matches are there. That would not make it. They want you to turn into SmackDown.
Why would any of these guys be there then if they don't have any decisions in place?
Because it's Super Bowl week, they're building hype for WrestleMania. They're not going to give you exactly what's going to happen, but the Super Bowl's there. That's why they're there.
Look, I still believe we're still
going to hype. All the celebrities are there.
We're going to get Rock and Roman night 2. I still believe that. It's too far now, and it's one of those.
But if Cody beats Roman night 1, then night 2 means nothing because he's already lost. It loses the whole appeal, right? So they have to work around that.
Well, then you do Rock and Roman night 1, right? I mean that's the only other option because I mean if you're going to try to appease the fans, and appeasing the fans,
they will appease the fans.
But it's the worst thing to do for business because at the end of the day, the ones that are complaining, it's kind of like what we're living in this world today with.
They're just saying that happened with Daniel Bryan. They didn't want Daniel Bryan to do that at WrestleMania 30, but the fans were yelling and hashtag and everywhere that Vinnie Max at the cave. He didn't want Daniel to have a belt. You look at Daniel Bryan, he's a little guy. He's not that built, not his prototypical guy, but the crowd was so intense and the marks were so going hardcore that he had no choice but to do that. And this is the same thing is going to happen here with Cody. This is the new Daniel Bryan. Just a little bit taller.
Which is weird because I mean he's been doing
that's what I think. So we'll see.
A while, right? But let's play it out. But like I said, I think my biggest concern with this internet wrestling community, which I'm kind of falling out of favor with a little bit, is because death threats, man. Like they're sending death threats to him, they're sending death threats to his daughter. Like, come on, man. Like, just leave him alone. Like why don't people understand this is the biggest show? And like you said, man, it's like the Super Bowl. Majority of the women that come out to watch the Super Bowl is because they want to watch the halftime show. They don't care about the game, right?
Hands down. Yep.
Right. And
they want to watch Usher. They want to watch the big stars.
Right. So for me, it's like, okay, thankfully I know who Usher is, but I couldn't tell you any of his music. So I could care less about the halftime show. Right. I'm about the football game. I don't care. Right. I mean, no disrespect to Usher. Like, I don't know his music. I don't know, like obviously he's big that he's doing this halftime show. Right. But I mean, for me, it just doesn't translate to me. Right. If I'm a casual fan, that's not some reason for me to join in. But if I'm a wrestling casual fan, I know who The Rock is. Hell yeah, I'm going to turn it. Right. So, from that perspective, yeah.
I think The Rock and Ari Emanuel are a little bit shocked that The Rock is losing a little bit of his star power in only the sense that Black Adam was an absolute flop at the box office. He is a little bit older now. He is mid-50s, early 50s. But when he came out there to SmackDown, he thought they would go nuts for him, but the reaction was completely different. They were chanting Rock, he sucks yesterday. I think that kind of took him by surprise. It was horrible. He thought he used to be, as far as the new generation of guys now, of fans.
Here's a question. I don't know if many people have brought it up or talked about it. Why did Cody win the Royal Rumble then if that was the case? You know what I mean? Like if that was the case all along.
Because they thought Rock is the only reason the Rock got a seat in the board, not because he's some business genius. It's because he brands well. He's a brand genius. He doesn't create any businesses. It's just that he looks good. He's a big star. They gave him a seat on the board to pump this up, to pump it over. They thought he was a little bit larger, more life than he actually really is. And then I always say it, IWC fans, they love Kevin Owens, they love Sami Zayn, they love Cody Rhodes. Those are the guys they like. They don't like the muscle guys. They don't like the stars. They hate everything about that. It's a whole new generation of Generation Z are completely different minded people. And they see a big rich guy like that, they immediately don't like him.
Yeah, no, 100%. But like I said, I mean, okay, look, we'll end this here because I mean we could just keep going and going and going. My
Yeah,
final,
you never know what they're gonna do.
no, we won't know what they're going to do until they tell us what they're going to do. All we can do is speculate at this time. Hopefully, this Thursday gives us some more answers. But the biggest thing is the talent on that roster, the talent that will get a paycheck from WrestleMania. The extra zeros are because of guys like The Rock coming on to the show. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, he will bring everyone else up. He's going to get everyone else more money.
Absolutely.
So none of these athletes, none of these performers really have a leg to stand on unless they don't get a piece of that pie.
I've always said this before, Lesnar, with John Cena, Roman Reigns. If you guys want that spot, go out there and become a UFC heavyweight champion. Go out there and become a movie star. But the reality is Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, they're not able to do that, or they would do that. So they get pissed off when the Brock and Rock guys come back, Stone Cold, get these big main event spots. They think it should be them, but they don't generate the popularity or the money these guys do. That's why they get those spots. It's
I get it.
How it is.
No, I get it 100%. But here's the other thing. The Cody Seth match itself is written beautifully because here's a guy and Seth said it beautifully last night. Like, I need to fight you to prove to myself that I've gotten better. Because if you think about it, the last time these guys fought, I mean, he's already got 3 over him, right? One WrestleMania, his debut at WrestleMania. Then they had the one match after that, and then the Hell in the Cell where he tore his tricep, right? So he's already beat him 3 times in a row. So now this 4th time that they meet, Seth is the champion. Story's written right there, man.
And another thing I think that backfired, they thought Seth was kind of talking down the Roman belt. You know what I mean? It's a Hollywood belt, all this stuff, trying to make that match with Cody get even hotter and hotter. But they actually backfired by Seth doing that, make people want to see him beat Roman even more now. So I don't know. They try with it. And
here's the beauty. It's kind of ironic because I mean, a few years back, this was the reception that Roman was getting. He almost feels like the guy in the middle of all of it now, right? Like he's there. Everyone's kind of forgetting the importance of Roman Reigns because he's just kind of lost in the shuffle with all these guys. No one's really saying anything about him, which is great. I love it. So yeah, man, I tell you what, we have a lot happening. You know, there's this show coming up. We still don't know what this is all gonna look like. Drew throwing his hat into the mix as well, a man with no contract. I only bring that up because I'm just curious to see what they're trying to do with him because I know they want to re-sign him. So what kind of things are they trying to show him? Like, yeah, we want you back. We want you back.
Yeah.
Sort of, because this Drew is by far the best Drew I've seen since he's come back.
Yeah, he's been amazing. He's been good. He's on a roll. He'll sign. He'll make a deal.
His personality's been awesome, but they got to do something quicker than quick, right? So
the Marks run wrestling now. The IWC and the Marks control it. Cody Rhodes is the new Daniel Bryan. They'll do a spectacular send-off for WrestleMania. How they do it, how they go, but I don't know. But Cody will be the biggest star at WrestleMania.
We are dealing with the WWE. They always figure it out at the end of the day. So everyone who has their underwears or panties in a bunch, unravel them, man. Everything will work out. I promise. WrestleMania is going to be awesome. Pardon me.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Yeah, I think. But
if they think that, like, look at Daniel Bryan, he's an AEW now. He's not a big ratings guy. He was hot for the moment, but Cody was an AEW. He wasn't a big ratings guy. So I mean, they're overplaying how popular they are amongst the hardcore fans. Yeah, they love them, but at the end of the day, you need the casual guys that Rock brings. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, the only casual guy that we know right now is The Rock. I mean, we don't have any word of Cena showing up on the show. We don't know if, you know what I mean? So there's still a lot to come. We don't know everything yet, man. We are only speculating. We know the only thing we can tell you for sure, Bailey versus Io Sky. What day? I don't know. But that's the only match right now that's concrete in WrestleMania unless something happens before
Yep.
that. All right, brother man. I tell you what, I love that Tom Petty shirt, man. You really taking care of it. That red is popping. Uh,
Mhm.
on that note, my name is Bobby Sampson. He's Mr. Chance Michaels and the budgie in the background.
In the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you guys. We look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll have some more answers and more updates on the WrestleMania card and what's going on. Until then, guys, sit back, relax, and wait for us for Thursday when we come to you to talk about boxing. So, in the meantime and in between time, guys, gals, that's it for Samp and Chance. Have a great rest of your week. Please be safe. We will talk to you soon.